Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I'm going to be doing a front brake pad and rotor change on my '04 Acura RSX base. This is my car. As you can see, I already have it up on jacks and everything. For those of you that don't know where your jack points are, or not jack points, your lift points, they're actually right here on the RSX. They're right here on this metal bar right here that goes across underneath. I don't know if you can see that very well. Yeah, right here. Basically where my jack is located at. And then my lift points, my pinch welds for the sides are located right here, right behind my fender. Actually right behind the tire. So it's right here. As you can see, that's where it is. This is the pinch weld that you're gonna be needing to get it on. And, also on the other side, it's also located on the same side as well, on that same back side. There, right here. As you can see, that's where it's at. So yeah, so I have the hard part taken care of. Well, the easy part taken care of, where you just gotta jack it up. And also, don't forget your protective gear. So always have your gloves, right? I'm usually large, but these guys are extra large. Don't forget your safety glasses. I only have my light on. Oops, I should probably take that off. I only have my light on because, as you can see, it's kind of a little bit dark in here, so I can avoid having to use a flashlight. This is what I would use, you know. And then also, I'm in my work clothing, so yes, I'm in my work clothing, my work pants, you know, and my black shoes on bottom. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So I already broke my lug nuts loose, so that's how my car's my rim is like this light, this easy move. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and set you guys down and then continue with this video. So my car, as you can see, I have aftermarket wheels on it, which require a special socket. So for those that don't know, this is my special socket. So let's go ahead and take off my lug nuts. Then for me, my correct socket would be a 19 with my wrench, or my ratchet, I mean. And then you can just always put the lug nuts to the side. And that's what I always prefer to do. I like to keep them closed, so when I go back to put on the tire back on, I'm not having to be scrambling to look for them. And then what I like to do is I like to sit and put my legs underneath the tire, like so. So that way my legs can lift up the tire and I won't have to worry about the tire falling or my studs getting ruined. There we go. And then I set all my stuff to the side, like so. Lift off my tire and roll it to the side. There you go. So as you guys can see, my rotor doesn't really need replacing, but I just figured this way so I can show you guys how to do a rotor change on it. Yeah, my brake pads, Still look like they got somewhat of life left, but I do need to go and replace them. Let's see. Yeah. Now you guys can see right there that angle. I don't know, doesn't look like you can see very well. I'll show you guys either way. But so yeah, so to take off the brake caliper, I know for sure, you know, if we're just gonna do a normal brake job, like just the brake pads, your brake caliper bolt is this guy right here. If you're just gonna take out the brake pads and call it done, you would break this guy loose, take it out, and then also break this guy loose, this bolt right here, and break it loose, and then you can lift it out and move it, right? You know, you would only break it loose, but you wouldn't take off this bolt if you're just doing brake pads. The only one that you would take off would be this bottom one again. This one would be the one that you would take off completely. But the top one you would just loosen, because that way you can flip the caliper up, and then you can have access to the brake pads. But however, in this circumstance, I'm actually trying to take off everything so I can show you guys how to take off and on the brake rotor. I mean, not the brake rotor, yeah, the rotor for my car. So in that case, you could just ignore that for the brake pads, because I'm not gonna. Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. Just take it off and just make my life easier. You could not take it off, but this be more of a problem. So let me go ahead and put you guys back so you guys can see how I do it, and then I'll bring it in closer for you guys to get a better view of what exactly I'm doing. So let's see. There you guys are. There you guys can see that now. All right. That guy appears to be like a 14 or so. I just want to go ahead and see. And yeah, it's definitely a 14. Just gonna get my handy dandy ratchet. And you're gonna have some goo on it. Don't worry, that's okay. That's just because this is a moving part. It does a lot of movement, and movement causes friction. So the lube is just there to help keep it from moving too bad. And what I also like to do is before I finish taking out the full caliper, I like to go ahead and grab some zip ties. So I'm gonna go ahead and go grab that now. Yeah, so I got the 2 zip ties now. What I use this for is I actually use these to actually strap up and hold up the brake caliper, because unfortunately I do not have a brake caliper hook. But preferably, you guys should always have one. Make it easier. But if you don't, we'll just string or any type of thing can help. And as you see, the brake caliper comes right off. Like that. As you can see, I have the brake caliper here, the piston. So I like to tie it up and get it out of the way. So here's my zip tie. I usually tie it to the spring, for that way it's not in the way of anything. And it's also good to get into this practice because that way you don't have to risk damaging your brake hose, which is this guy right here. This is where your hydraulic fluid is for your brakes. So I got the brake caliper off now, and as you can see, this bolt here, that is what's holding the brake caliper bolt, the brake bracket up. And here's the other one, right? And like I told you earlier, right here, it gives you the full access to your brake pads. So as you can see, brake pads still got semi amount of life left. Nothing too crazy, but still enough to last me a good while. So we just gotta make sure, we're not doing hardcore driving or hard braking, which unfortunately I'm a victim of, But hey, everyone has their own style of driving. So, and then you guys are gonna have these little bracket springs right here. That's completely normal. That's where your brake pads go and they're held in place by. So now that I have the caliper off, now it's time to take off my brake caliper. So I go back to my trusty handy toolbox and try to find the correct sizing. Which I don't know if it was a 16. No, that's too small for a 16. It's probably gonna be like a 19 or so. Nope, too big. All right. Let's see here. Look at that. 17. So these are actually a lot harder to take off. Just for the fact that, yeah, like I said, it's a lot harder to take off, especially from the floor. There you go. Yeah, if I had my own shop or a lift at least, it would be easier to get to, but unfortunately I do not have one. So in this case, I am stuck trying to go full strength, which is always no fun because now you gotta put your weight into it. Yeah, and be careful not to strip them at all, neither. I fell victim to that before. I stripped them by accident. There you go. There you go. So now you guys can start taking these guys off now. And these guys do have a torque spec as well. The torque spec for these guys is, I believe, 9 Newton meters. If you don't know what Newton meter is, you can always go by foot-pounds. So 9 Newton meters transitions into, I believe it's 7 foot-pounds of pressure for that. So I would, when you're reassembling everything, that's what I would do. I'd put it back to torque spec. So yeah. So now you see I have my brake rotors completely free. I got nothing, no brake pads, no brake caliper, no bracket connected to it. It's pretty straightforward. Here's the 2 holes that I just took it off of. All right, so now to take off your brake rotor, you're gonna have to take off these 2 screws right here. These are the 2 main ones that you would have to take off. So it's a cross, so I would grab a cross. Make sure it's the right size and everything for it. you go. And then just, you know, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Ah, fuck. Excuse me. Yeah, allergies got me messed up today. Yeah, so usually you can get it with a screwdriver, but this guy's I forgot I used my impact gun for it to take it off. So let me go ahead and go get that with me. That's all the way in my shed. So let's go get it real quick. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Make sure I place it. So charge. All right. Now I got my handy dandy Ridge impact gun. Or honestly, I don't know what these are called. I think it's an impact screwdriver gun, I guess. Drill, impact drill. There it is. So now we can continue this process of taking it off. So, let me go ahead and put you in my shirt pocket so you guys can see what I am doing. There you go. I hope you guys can see. There you go. Always put your screws to the side. Let's see. And as you guys just saw, it loosened, it broke loose. So yeah, so now you can just wiggle it off like so. And there, your brake rotor, your bracket, your brake caliper, and your brake pads are all taken off. So yeah, so and if you ever have to get to your wheel hub, it's right there. So, or if you ever had to fix your studs, you know, if someone ever comes to strip your studs, or if you end up shipping it yourself, here they are. You have your chance right here to actually take it off. Just take a hammer to it and pass, and you can pop them off. Yeah. So now, so now anyone can go take off, do a brake job on an Acura RSX. From my knowledge, all vehicles are the same. And from what my professor told me too, it's gonna be the same concept. I'm taking them off. So, yeah, I hope this has helped you. And then just repeat the same process of taking it off. If you like, I can go ahead and keep doing it. I'll show you guys how to put it back on as well. But for those that already know what to do and how to do it, perfect. You guys can just end the video now and go from there. But for those that don't and want me to show you guys, I will be gladly to show you. So on the rotor, there's these two dots. Do you see that one right there and one right here? This one is for your screw go into. This one's for your screws to actually drop into, like so. Alright, that's for that. You gotta make sure that this stud and this screw line up with this stud and that screw hole right here. I'll make sure it lines up with those two. If not, you're gonna be having a lot of problem. And likewise with these, you gotta make sure that this stud lines up with this screw, which is right here as well. Let me go ahead and show you guys. Which is, I don't know if you guys can see, which is for these guys again right here. That stud and this screw right there. And mostly all rotors are gonna be the same. So that you won't have to worry about. I'm gonna put you guys up again right there. So I see my screws, my stud. You know, I want to line them up. So mine would be this way, of course. Go. Grab your stud. You grab your cross screwdriver. Sorry for my horrible terminology. I grew up saying de cruz, a flat, so excuse me for that. You grab your screwdriver. Always hand tighten first before you gun it. So hand tighten it, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Go. And then now you can take the gun just a little bit like that. There you go. Just like that, and you're completely fine. So yeah, so if you're doing a complete brake job, you can grab a wet, damp towel and just clean off the rotor, and you're done. You're all set. That way you don't get any debris. Hot water expands the metal, so any dirt buildup and all that fun stuff, you know, that's built up in it won't get back into the rotor, and it helps clean the rotor and everything, right? So let's continue. So next is the brake bracket, brake caliper bracket. So you grab your two bolts that you had to the side, likewise. Up. You grab a brake bracket, you line it up. What I like to usually do is stick one in until I feel it sink in like that. Like so. And your other one, this top one right here. Like so. And then I grab my torque wrench. This guy. If you guys don't have one of these, don't worry. AutoZone sells them for, I believe, I got mine on sale, so mine was about, I believe it was like 40 bucks or so. But it works great. So for me, I gotta adjust the torque down to 7. I hope this guy has it. I'm not too positive if I have it on this one or if I don't. Yeah, sorry about that. I just couldn't get loose my knob here to do my adjustments. So let's see. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have 7, so I'm just gonna use the ratchet in this case and just not apply too much pressure. Just enough for it to hold. So I'm not fully tightening it right now. I am just, love tightening it. And then this one is where I am gonna fully tighten it. There we go. I usually like to do one, like 2 or 3 good pulls. So 1, 2, and there. That's all I like to do. These guys are delicate as well, just like these. So you don't ever want to over tighten any of these. Trust me, I know. I snapped these bolts and actually got stuck. So I don't advise that. It sucks. Trust me. So now we go on to the brake caliper. So now you grab your 14 size socket, and then you grab a knife or so to cut this. To cut your zip tie that you use to hold up the brake caliper. There we go. And also, you also gotta make sure that you retract the piston. That's also the number one thing to do. So if you have one of these bad boys, these guys are the brake disc spreaders. They look like this, which is base, normal, generic design. What this does is you put this in the caliper, and then you can push everything back in. So you put this one inside like this, like so. Obviously, you gotta use a brake pad, push that up against, and then you go from there. So you guys can see. Yeah, because if you don't do it, it's gonna be difficult to push in the. It's gonna be difficult to push in the brake caliper back into its slot because of it. There we go. And oops. There we go. As you can see, almost, I believe you can see. I hope you can see. Let's see here. As you can see, the piston's going in. It's going back into its slot. So, unfortunately, I don't have a method to show you guys actually holding on to it. So I'm gonna put you guys back real quick. Nope. There we go. And you always gotta be careful when you do this on all four, or even on just the front two. The master cylinder, or the brake fluid reservoir. Sorry, not the master cylinder. The brake fluid reservoir will actually lose some fluid because you're compressing all that hydraulic fluid back into the brake fluid. The brake lines. You're compressing everything back into the brake lines. So now that you've got that, I like to just get one of these bad boys into its slot, like so. And like I said, I just set it just enough for me to be able to lift it up, like that. And that way, if you're doing just a brake pad job, you can just lift it up, grab your new brake pads, stick them right in. Not this again. Yeah, last time I did brake pads on my car, I was having trouble putting them back on. Because for some reason, whoever did this brake pad job before me, did a shitty job with the hardware. They really fucked up my hardware, so, oops, excuse my language. They really messed up my hardware. So I've been meaning to get some new ones, but I haven't had a chance to. There's like whole quarantine stuff that's been going on. There we go. There. Then I just now close this. There. So now that's back together. You put your other secondary bolt in. And just give them some nice tugs. Just enough to where they tighten, but not overly enough to where they strip or they snap off. Perfect. And then, if you're doing a brake flush job, this is a nipple, brake caliper nipple. See, the line goes into here. This is where you would take this nipple piece off, and then this is where you connect the hose to do a brake flush. And there. That is your overall project on your brake system. Well, to replace your brake rotor and brake pads. This is your whole system. Those are all the steps. And yeah, hope this video helped, and we'll see you next time. Bye.